have a word of prayer, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Let us pray. Thank you, God, for all your blessings. And we just come as a group of believers asking for your wisdom and your help. And giving us wisdom in how to handle our county business, Father, in a way that would be pleasing to you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank y'all all for coming. We had quite a few that asked to come and speak today. And I know Ms. Cobb is on her way. And I really would like Ms. Cobb to hear everything, so I'll wait and see. What do we have coming up as far as, if y'all don't mind, if we wait just a second, we'll go ahead and...
I don't have a lot on my list right now. I do have some surplus items that you have requested surplus. That is on the list. And then also, we need to rescind a resolution that was passed last month. It's resolution number 5409 about the jail funds. Turns out that we are not actually permitted to allocate that money back to the sheriff's department that is set up. It has to be changed by local act. So we need to rescind that resolution because we're not allowed to do that.
Did you find that through the auditors?
Actually, Paula reached out to the public examiners and they explained it.
Dang.
So, all's good.
I also talked to the sheriff's association.
So, but we're not allowed to do that, so we'll need to rescind that resolution. Other than that, I don't really have anything. I am following up with a call I made to the insurance company, our auto insurance. Mr. Hendricks had asked if our transportation would be available for our citizens over the state line. So, like, people in his area might need to go over into Georgia to see a doctor or whatever. And I have put in a call with them, and I have not received an answer on that yet, but I think it's going to be a difference of amounts of liability insurance that is required in Georgia and Alabama are different. And they did say they would follow up with me on that and let me know if there's, a change that needs to be made to our policy on that vehicle. That's it.
That's it. All right. So the first two items, we're good with consent agenda. Everybody good with that? That third item, everybody good with that? Is there anything that needs?
No, anything you could add to it.
Okay. Any questions?
How long is our webpage for the road cost?
The webpage for road cost, the last thing that I recall about it is that we were going to get some better numbers from Lee. I have not received those numbers on the part about the patching and leveling and that part of the other numbers we have. We were talking about we would get kind of an estimate based on what he had been doing. So you said like maybe for the last year on projects that he had done. And I'm not gotten these numbers from him.
I talked to him. Let's put between $40,000 to $50,000 a mile because that's sort of what it costs for the road project we've done this year. Because we need to get that out to the public so the public can see what kind of money we were working with.
Absolutely.
And me personally, I think we're doing a good job. Other people might not. Once they see the figures, I think it'll make more sense.
The look of those numbers together should be fairly simple since Lee's provided those other numbers for us. We'll put together a little chart on that and send that to you all and let you look at it. And if you're good with it, then we'll put it right on the website.
I'd like to get it out. Christmas anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where we at on the jail contract? I understand we hadn't got that thing signed.
We have not, and I think the biggest issue that we've run against is the changes. There's been several different changes that have been made, so the versions of this document have changed. The last one that I had received from our attorney was after the county attorney, the city attorney, the two sheriffs, and myself had met. And after that time, I had requested a copy of it when he got it edited to that current version. I received that version of it, printed out, our chairman signed it, our sheriff signed it, and then the city read over the document and realized that all the changes that they had requested had not been made. So I sat down with two of the commissioners Friday and talked to them, and they realized that there's actually another version that I did not have, more current than the one that had been sent to me by the county attorney. And it's an edited version that you can visually see the edits on. It's got mark throughs and all that. So I think that if we actually were to put that document, just pull it up on Word and actually accept those edits, that's probably going to be the final document. But at this point, there's been so much confusion about which version of this agreement that we're going to have, that I think the attorney needs to clear that up and make sure that we understand that this is the final one that's in to everyone.
What we voted on, evidently then it's not the last version. So what do we need to do?
I don't think it come down to vote, I think it come down to that there was something accidentally left off on the, that's my understanding, right?
From what I understand, the hesitation about it right now is a couple paragraphs that should have been pulled out of it, that got left in. There's some parts that the city had an aversion to, and I understand that they were intended to be left out of the final document. So, I have now seen the edited version. I finally got to see it Friday, and I had it forwarded to myself. So I do have that now, but I just did not have it when I printed it and thought that it was the final version. I mean, it was sent to me as a new updated version of the 2023 contract, and so I took it that was the current one. And evidently after that, it was actually, there's another document. And I did not say that it was sent to a couple people, but it was not sent to me. So I did get that Friday, and I do have that version, but I just don't know at this point.
You're uncomfortable with it.
I am uncomfortable with it because I'm like, I don't know what I have been left out of the loop on. I got left out of the loop on that, sure. I never did receive that document until Friday. But I am fine if our attorney says, hey, this is the actual, this is what we agreed on, and, their attorney says this is what we agreed on, and then, okay, we print it, that's the final version, this is the end of it, and then everybody signs. Then I'm fine with, presenting that to the commission as a finalized document to be approved.
I mean, I voted against the other one, so I'm sure what they're taking out, I'm still gonna vote against it, but, I mean, what was voted on last month, evidently, is not what she's calling the last edit on.
Well, and we didn't have that specific document in hand when we did it. We just agreed that, about the amounts are basically the terms. But the part that's in it that they would have taken out is about identifying the county if the county were to have violate someone's civil rights once they have entered the jail. And it would basically put it back on the city if we were to violate someone's civil rights, and they don't feel that that's right because they don't have any control over what our corrections officers and sheriff do. Is that what you understand it, John? So, that's the portion that we've taken out. And I think that it was meant to be taken out. I think that's what the attorneys agreed to, and I think that's what they want to do. It's just that the last version did not make it to my hands, and I didn't have no idea that there was even another version of it.
Can John speak to that? Can you speak to that? That what they're taking out, is that you're going to have to deal with it anyway, right?
Right, I don't think, to tell you the truth, I don't even need one.
You don't need a contract?
I mean, they're mine anyway.
He got a point.
I mean, why do I need it?
We're saying we don't need to document it all.
But I guess the city wants it. The city wants it.
But it's just, at this point, it's just basically about the amount.
Right, and I think that's they've been voted on that, that's done been signed, the amount per day. This is just a housing contract, which, they're mine anyway, so I don't really need one. By the way I look at it.
Well, it sounds like that everything's come down that we hold,
I mean, they're ours, yeah,
we hold all responsibility no matter what.
right.
And that's state
We hold it
law.
once they come in the jail, once they're turned over to us, it's all.
But that boils down to state law now, right?
Right.
I don't know how to, I mean,
I want to, you know, make sure that the intentions of the commission are taken care of. And of course, that's why we got our county attorney and the city attorney, everyone involved, to try to make sure that we have a document that everybody's happy with. And I think I think this final, the final version that's been edited, I think that's probably is the correct one. But I do need to double check with our attorney and make sure that everybody's happy with what it is. And I really think at this point in time, you know, the document, once we get it prepared and everybody's like, I guess I would hope that the mayor would sign off of it. If he's the first one to sign on it, then I'm sure that everything else is gonna be fine. It's just a matter of making everybody happy.
yes, sir.
The way I look at it, I mean, it's no different than Leah's inmates, they don't have a contract. It's no different than the game warden inmates, they don't have a contract. It's no different than state park guys, they have no contract. So, I mean,
Do they pay for the first 3 days?
no,
How do they get away with not paying?
because they're not municipal inmates, they're technically county inmates. The only way they pay is if they're municipal inmates, and you gotta have a municipal court to consider them municipal inmates, which that's not talk about Randers. They have a true municipal inmate.
Come on. Ms. Cobb, she's very privy to this. I know, Ms. Cobb, I know we're catching you right off guard here. But you're aware that the inmate with the city of Heflin situation, where I think she was left out of the loop accidentally, and there was something changed, and John's saying now, basically, he didn't need a contract, it was just based on the cost of what we're paying.
Right.
But I think the city of Heflin would like a contract.
I mean, if they want one, that's fine, but I mean.
But you feel uncomfortable, and you just want to make sure that the attorney.
Well, I'm comfortable if the attorney signs off on it and says that this is the final agreement that we have, that, you know, what's been discussed with the city, then I would be fine with presenting that to the commission as a finalized document and to be signed off on. It's just that, you know, what made me uncomfortable was not knowing that I was not being included sometimes on emails, and I'm sure it was unintentional. But when you start talking about multiple versions of the same document and changes that have been made, it's very easy to get onto the wrong document. And that's the case where that happened, where I did not receive that final one, but thought that it was the final that I had received. So I think if we can get our attorney to say, yes, this is definitely what came about after that meeting, and we'll go forward from there, then I think we're gonna be good. And I think it's gonna be a much simpler document because several things have been taken out of it.
So I think Emmett met with, their attorney met with Patrick this morning and met with the city, and they kind of got everything kind of ironed out and supposed to be doing the final version and sending it back through. And that everybody gets a copy this time and agrees.
Okay. You have something else you had a question?
I mean, so what we voted on ain't gonna be the last edit on it. So we're gonna have to go back and rescind that and do another vote.
I'll look back at the wording of that resolution. I think it was fairly generic, and that it didn't have a lot of detail. I think it was just agreeing on the resolution had was the amount on there. I don't think
That didn't change. All that stays the same. The only wording was, on some of the legal.
The item
But,
that didn't
but
drive
that,
county.
but I think Lost now understands that it doesn't matter, you're gonna be held, someone's still held responsible.
Right.
But, I think there's closer towards an agreement with the sliced version, which was actually what Jason and Patrick had done and had marked out, but that's not the copy that was sent. That's not the copy that got signed off on. So there's probably
You were not given the right copy.
No,
It
I got
was just an accident.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So that's where the confusion came in.
Okay.
But, I think everything else is pretty clear on it.
But you just feel like being the administrator, you'd like verification from the county attorney, and you have not gotten that yet, right?
That's correct.
You just want to feel comfortable with it?
Yes, I wanna feel that that's the absolute last final word on it and print that clean copy out with all the edits taken
Okay.
care of and have a clean document and go from there.
All right, is everybody good with that?
Well, we have too many working copies floating around,
That's exactly
floating around. We need to come up with a way to stop that. It's happened before. It happens frequently, as a matter of fact. So,
I mean, I don't,
It seems like, yeah, it takes too long. Once we make a decision, it's taking 6 months to forward through what we have agreed to do and finish. Shouldn't take that long.
And it takes, sometimes it does, I understand that it does take a while because you're dealing with multiple organizations trying to come to an agreement on something. I mean, just like how hard it is to get, 4 or 5 people, just individuals to agree. So then when you you start pulling your attorneys in and making sure that you're covered liability wise, then it gets complicated and you end up with multiple documents because of that. But I agree, there should be a better way. I don't know if the date needs to be put on each one and say, this is the version dated November the 8th or whatever and go forward. There's got to be a way to identify that it's the correct version. Because I think this was a communication error.
so we're just waiting on the
Yes.
attorney, all right? And that's all you have? Any other questions for Lisa? The two things that, just keeping her up to date, the two things, go over real quick, what you want to put on the agenda. The one is we got surplus out of my office. What's the second thing?
Any changes that we may need to make on the transportation vehicle on the liability portion of that, or traveling over state line?
Yeah,
So, I need to check on that. A request has been made that the transportation vehicle be able to transport people over the Georgia line if they have a doctor's appointment or something to that effect. And I understand that the liability amounts required by each state may be a little different from each other. So I put a call in through to Parnell to check on that to see if we need to change our rate on that.
and rescinding a resolution also.
And then we also have a resolution to rescind about the jail funds that cannot be passed in just a regular resolution. It has to be passed by a local act.
So we'll put
That's
those,
the 3.
okay.
We'll consider it.
The bus deal was, I called Lee and asked him why they couldn't transport to Carrollton. And he said East Alabama, and I said, well, call him and see why. He called, East Alabama don't care. So then he told me it was an insurance problem. So this has been going on for 2 weeks.
Right.
And Lee's not gonna be here tonight, so
And I have to call him, I just haven't gotten an answer on that yet.
So East Alabama does allow us to, that bus
yeah.
to be transported across the state line.
So, like I said,
Need something from
our
that.
personal insurance policies, we can go anywhere we want. I mean, I don't understand why
I'm
we be locked in,
I'm only dealing with the bus deal, I mean, it don't really matter to me about the rest of it.
Right, I know sometimes East Alabama will specify, especially if they've done something for funding for the bus itself. Sometimes they will specify where you, radius that you can travel in. But, I've never understood it to not go across the state line. I'd never heard that before. I just heard that there was kind of a radius that they would allow. But I will check. Like I said, if it really is just a matter of the insurance rate, we can certainly get that ironed
That
out.
doesn't have to be voted on, it's just be taken up. Okay? Anything else for Lisa? Lee, of course, is out, and he said that he would like to have permission to take bids on a used chip spreader. And it is available, it's a repo in great shape, 700 hours, 4x4, variable width out to 16 feet. This is not something that I had budgeted, but something we need if we're going to continue to tar and gravel and surplus the current spreader once this is done, if you have any questions. Do you want to put that on new business, or everybody good to put on new business? All right. That covers that. We got a slew of folks that had asked to come and speak, and Sheriff, you got anything?
I'm not. The stats for November, our current population, we have 48 inmates. There's 50 inmates either bonded, had in sentence, or court released. We've had 750 work detail, the inmate work detail man hours, had 324 bags of trash collected, 161 tires, there was 99 pieces of furniture, etc. Collected. There's 18 felony warrants served, 19 misdemeanor warrants served, there's 113 civil papers served, had 12 felony arrests, 10 misdemeanor arrests, had 144 completed incident or offense reports, had 19,348 miles, patrol miles logged, and 2,537 business checks. And about the jail phone stuff I was talking about, I talked to Susan at the Sheriff's Association, and she did say there had to be an act, a local act passed. I talked to the attorney over the Sheriff's Association. He's working, trying to get me a proposal to present y'all to see if we possibly can talk to Randy and get one passed. So I thought he would have it done today, but he didn't. Of course, it was late last week before I let him get in touch with him to start working on it. So I'm hoping to have it maybe in another week or so. Also interviewed someone this morning for the vacant SRO slot. So hoping maybe in the next week or so I should hear something from him.
Where's that at?
Pleasant Valley.
Pleasant Valley. Pleasant
Not
Grove.
Pleasant Grove, yeah, Pleasant Valley, Pleasant Grove.
I didn't know he was going that far
Yeah.
out.
Okay, we ain't paying him all.
What's that?
We're not paying for the
That's
back.
right. Pleasant Grove.
But that's about it. Yes, sir.
Hey, is there any way we can get like a update every month on the maintenance on the jail?
That's, Emmett asked me last time, I talked to Wayne, and he was supposed to get Fred to see, but I don't think Fred ever got back with him. I do know all the plumbing, Wayne did tell me all the plumbing is finished. So I think it's waiting on Fred to get back.
I mean, you know, I thank you for all you do. You've done a good job, and the report you just gave really don't mean a whole lot to me. I'm glad you do it.
Yeah,
To me, the maintenance report on the jail would be more important than that.
Yeah.
That's our responsibility.
right. But yeah, I mean, he reached out to Fred, and he's waiting on Fred to get back with him. 'Cause, I mean, technically, we don't know what he completed, you know, without asking him, so.
I mean, would it be possible for Lane just to come up with a clipboard?
Like a checklist.
Check them off, and when they get completed?
I'll ask him and see what we come up with. I agree with him, we need to know something. So.
But it is still interesting how many miles,
Oh, yeah.
how many businesses and what you've done. I mean, you know, that's, you know, we don't have, a lot of times, as lay
People don't
people, we
know.
don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Also, and we do have the other new, a lady, I say the new hire, the latest hire, he graduates Thursday from the academy, so he'll be hit the road this weekend. So.
Any questions for John? Thank you, sir. Ms. Fuller, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm good unless y'all have questions for me. Thank you.
Our superintendent, Mr. Young, is here. You in the hot seat.
I'm on the hot seat. I guess mine is informative, as also maybe asking for your graces. Informative as well as courtesy, so to speak, to make sure that y'all are in the loop on a plan that we have kind of embarked on in the school system. Now, full disclosure, as you probably already know, I'm not attempting to be the superintendent again after this term. So this is probably going to be after my term is completed. But I am involved heavily in getting this thing rolling because I think over my 8 years of being the superintendent, one of the things we need is what I'm fixing to talk about. Our students, I just look at I've got an embargoed report, so I can't go over the complete report legally with y'all about where we rank in the state of Alabama as a county school system. I'll tell you this, last year we were the best county school system in the state of Alabama according to this report card that the state of Alabama does. And that's been the case 4 out of the last 5 years. So they give us a report, like a report card with numerical grades, A through F. The lowest grade we've had in the last 5 years is an 87, maybe 86. So to be safe, let's say 86. Most county school systems have difficulty getting into the B range, mainly because of finances, because the more people you can hire, the more kids you can touch. And the ratio of student to teachers, every teacher will tell you it's a whole lot easier, regardless of whether it's primary, middle school, or high school. If you have a class of 14, that's a whole lot different than a class of 35. And trying to get their needs taken care of on a daily basis when you only have them for, say, 45 minutes during that day. I was personally a math teacher my whole career, and if I had over 25 kids, it was hard to spend a minute apiece with those 25 kids every day because the classes are only 47 minutes long. And by the time you do instruction and try to get them involved, because math is not one of those things they run through the door excited about, especially algebra 2 and geometry. So you have to kind of get them involved and let them know that you care about them and get on a personal relationship with them before you can teach them math, because they don't want to listen to you unless they know you care. So that kind of goes into what I want to do as a superintendent. I'd like to see it get started, and I could care less who gets the credit for it. But I've been in this school system my whole life, either as a student or an employee, and now the superintendent. We have a vision. I've already had my architects design. We have a vision of a performing arts center. The performing arts center would be built in a central location, hopefully out at the tech school. I have possibly secured some land based on what the decision is on whether we're able to do it or not. The concept is that we would have a performing arts center with an auditorium to seat hopefully around 750 people. We may have to adjust based on how much money we have. The Performing Arts Center would include a lot of things that we're not able to offer right now because we don't have the means. I want our school system, it's already the best, and I truly believe that. But I want it to be beyond the best. I want it to be a place where people, when they hear Cleburne County, that's what they think about. It's what we offer our kids. And a product we turn, I guarantee you, and people can disagree if they want to, but if I go to Carrollton, Georgia, and I go to Oxford, and they've employed a student of ours, more times than not, they brag on that student. More times than not, they say they're one of the best people we've hired because of the way they've been raised and the way they've been taught. So that's a tribute not to just the school system, that's a tribute to everybody that lives in this county. And on that note, I appreciate what y'all do because this is a very big job. and I do respect it, and I try not to second guess anything y'all do. I know y'all get second guessed a lot, but I try not to do that. We would offer things like dance. We would offer things like music. And I've used my daughter, for example. My daughter had her school paid for. She's fixing to graduate from Jacksonville State with a degree in special education. Do you know how she got her school paid for? Because she could sing. You know how we knew she could sing? Because we go to church. Most people may not have that ability to know that. A lot of people have students that can do things that we don't know about because they weren't exposed to those things. So I'm very grateful that my daughter's school was paid for. Now she works hard too. You know, she's got very good grades and the academic stuff helped a lot too. But I know how difficult it is to put a kid through school. I put 3, but by the grace of God, it hadn't cost me a whole lot because they've been in Cleburne County schools and they've been immersed in the right things. So my vision is that we touch some of these students that maybe don't know that they're capable of singing or performing, drama, art. Now I'm just going to go ahead and give you a disclaimer here. People don't, when people hear Chad Young, they may think some bad things, I don't know, but I promise there's one thing they don't think about. They don't think about drama and art because I don't understand that stuff. I just met with both band directors this past week. I try to meet with them every so often, not as much as I should. But I met with both band directors last week and offered them encouragement and some other things, financial help. But I'm real clear with them that I don't understand what they do. I really respect what they do, but I don't know music. Ryan's never asked me to back him up at any of his events. If he did, he'd be crazy, but I don't understand it. The vision is that we would offer a lot of things, not limited. I'm just telling you some of the things we would offer. Drama, art, performance things. Along with that, if we're able to get what we would like to do, we're missing the mark somewhat on some other things like HVAC, plumbing. That's at our technical school. We can't offer a lot of these things because we don't have the money to offer. You have to have a person to do it. And it's very difficult to get someone off the road to teach HVAC for not much money because they can make a whole lot more money actually doing the job and owning a company. But if we could offer them teacher salary, maybe we could get them half a day. There's a lot of details we've got to work out. The big cost is going to be the Performing Arts Center. The Performing Arts Center would have the auditorium where kids could show off their skills, as well as maybe we could have some events from the county. Now this Performing Arts Center is not limited to school. This would be for the county, which we would have a committee that would decide, you know, if you apply to use it. Obviously, if it's something, I think there'll be no brainers. If you want to have an event, if you want to have something that's not necessarily school related, then they would review your application, and more than not, people would get to use it. Real quick, I don't know how much time I have.
It's a work session, we're okay.
To give you a little background on how the technical school was designed in 1971. In order to have a technical school, which they used to call a trade school, it's a technical school now. We still teach trades, but we teach much more than trades. We have one of the best, if not the best, in the state of Alabama, and I'll stand on that. The way it was set up is if you want a technical school, the state of Alabama doesn't send you teachers. You have to pull teachers from your 2 high schools. And those teachers that are supposed to be at the high schools, they go out to the technical school. So you can understand how that affects the whole school system as to, even if you don't go to technical school, it affects you because now, for example, there's between 4 and 5 units. If we didn't have a technical school, they would be at Cleburne County, they'd be at Randall High School. There's about 6.5 units. If we didn't have the technical school, they would be at Cleburne County High School. The population doesn't decrease. We got to teach the same amount of kids with less people. And we never know how many people are going to choose to go to the technical school. So it's kind of and we operate well. I'm not complaining about that. What I'm saying is, if we had a fully funded technical school, then those units that the state pays for could stay at the two high schools. And instead of us having to use local money to make up for units, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but we wouldn't have to use local money to pay for the units that we lost that went to the technical school. We could use our local money to put them in the elementary schools and the middle schools, which would drastically decrease the number of kids in each class. So it's not just a technical school issue, it's also a broad stroke issue. Okay? I don't know if I explained that, because a lot of people don't want to get into the weeds of how it's paid for, but that's a general idea. So, Mr. Lumpkin is the welding teacher. He's paid for with a unit from Cleburne County High School. He never goes to Cleburne County High School. And every teacher is that way. And that money is sent from what they call a foundation unit that's supposed to be at the school. But we decided as a county a long time ago, we needed a technical school. Back then it's called a trade school. A lot of counties, I'll just let you go ahead and know this, a lot of counties have disbanded their technical schools because of this. And that way they gain back all their units for their kids. Does that make sense? Now what we are asking, and I'll speed up because I don't want to bore y'all to death. What we're asking is for people to be open-minded. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for a decision. But what we want is we want a 1 cent tax to be proposed. An advisory referendum. So what we want to do as a school system is we want the people to tell us if they like this idea or not. Not yes or no, it's going to be implemented. But do you like this idea? Are you willing to add a 1 cent to your sales tax so that we can have a multi-million-dollar performance arts center that in perpetuity helps the whole school system? And your kid is going to be offered things that we have never offered before. That's what we're asking. And then, so in the advisory referendum kind of timeline would be this. We're working with our architect. We have a drawing, but it's a very rough drawing. But I've been in negotiations, or not negotiations, but meetings with our financial advisors as to how much money we would need from the 1 cent, how much the 1 cent would generate, and how much we could leverage what we could build to leverage that money. So I kind of know that in my head, and I'm going to share that with the next superintendent. In fact, I was in the negotiations today. Now, I don't want you to take this out of context, but we are doing well in Cleburne County Schools financially right now because we have very good people making very good decisions financially. But we don't have anywhere near the money to do what needs to be done. Basically, our money is like what y'all are doing. We're worried about operating money. We're not talking about money to go out and do something special. We don't have that kind of money. We have good operating money. And, we're 1 year away from it not being that way, depending on what the economy does. I have been so blessed as a superintendent that I haven't had to worry about probation. I think about Danny Knox when he had to go through those years of probation. And as a teacher, I'm like, why are we cutting people? Why do we not have toilet paper? Why is that out of order all the time? Why can't we fix those lines? Well, we didn't have any money. So y'all know what I'm talking about. We're not in that situation right now. But if somebody says, well, they don't need any money, well, we don't, just to operate. But is that all we want to do is operate? Or do we want to have something that people can be like, wow, Cleburne County's blowing it out of the water? That's what I want. I want people. Because when the school system looks good, everybody looks good. It's my opinion. Because most people that move here, they move here because we have a great place to live. and a great place to raise kids, and a great community of people that care. So the timeline will be this. I'm gonna work with my people to get us a referendum that will be voted on in November. Not this November, because it's gone. The general election. So why the general election? I kicked around in my mind that we want to have a special election to have this referendum. Well, that means you're only getting the people that actually go out and vote. I mean, they have to make a special trip. If we do it during the general election, when the president's being elected, people that cares will vote, correct? So less than a year from now, we would have an advisory referendum that basically asks everybody that votes, when Mr. Hill goes to the poll, he'll get to decide, yes, I would love to pay 1 penny for these things, or no, I don't. And we will respect everybody's opinion. But y'all as a commission would get back an answer. And it might be 65-35. No, we don't want to do that. Well, to me, that makes y'all's decision easy whether you want to implement that tax or not. If it comes back 70-30, yes, we want a 1 cent tax that is earmarked for this Performing Arts Center and these teachers. To me, that makes it easy also. Let's say if it comes back 70-30 that we want you to implement this tax, and y'all decide as a four-member panel, we don't want to do it. We'll have to respect that. And I will. Yes, sir.
Now, you do understand we can't levy a tax.
That's
Any
not-
tax we try to levy has to go to the legislature.
That's not what I'm being told. I've been through this going on about 6 months. We wanted to do this without involving y'all. We were told by lawyers we could not do it without involving y'all. Because I didn't want to put y'all in this. Okay, there was three things. There was 3 ways I thought we could do this. The Board of Education, pay for an election, people vote yes or no, we want it, and it's done. Well, that's not true. We can't do that. Secondly, have an election through the commission and let the people say yes or no. We can't do that either. The people cannot levy a tax on themselves because that is a new law. Y'all are the only ones that can levy a tax. That's what I'm being told. And Terry, I could be wrong.
That's news to me, but we tried it several years ago, and they said no.
I think this is a new one.
City council can levy a tax, county commission cannot. It has to go to the legislature.
You know, y'all levied the last one.
You can do a 1 cent.
Y'all levied the 1 cent tax in 2007 or 2006 without a vote from the people.
Yes.
No, but it went to the legislature.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, it was a
It
one-time,
was voted on in the courthouse. I was there.
They did. They voted on it in the courthouse, a 1 cent sales tax.
yeah, they,
Now, I'm not arguing,
At that time,
you could be right. If you're right, then we've got to go a different direction. I'm here basically because I respect y'all. And and you may have already heard stuff in the community. I didn't want any of it to really leak out. But I had to kind of in order for me to proceed with this, I needed to know the atmosphere of some people. I needed to know kind of what the climate was. And I've had nobody say, that's dumb, or y'all shouldn't do that. Now, there are probably some people out there. But everybody that I trust, I went and talked to people, well, I'll take that back. I've had one person that said, you know, I'm against taxes, and you're gonna have trouble convincing me to do that, but I won't speak out against it. And you probably can figure out who that person is. I'm not naming names, but it's a person who's obviously against taxes. I'm against taxes if I don't know what my money's going to. I don't like paying taxes on frivolous stuff. I don't want to spend a cent on the mating tendencies of a fruit fly. I don't understand why we would need to know that. But we're talking about the students of Cleburne County. That's everybody. And once again, if people have an opportunity to say, yes, I want it, or no, I don't even want to know what you voted. It's none of my business. I just wanna know what the percentage is. I wanna know, is it 90-10 for, or is it 90-10 against? And if it's 90-10 against, here's what my thing is, for the rest of my life, I'm fixing to be done with Cleburne County Schools, because it's been so good to me, I want to leave on a positive note, and I plan on it. But here's what people ask me all the time. While I was running in the last 8 years, here's the question: why don't we have this? Why don't we have art? Why don't we have music? They'll say, well, when Miss Morton was here, she used to do chorus. I was there, I saw it. The difference is we have to offer more academic units now. We don't have extra teachers to do these things. Right now, Mr. Baker has to travel all over the county just to touch kids with music. Because we don't have money to put a music teacher in the school. So he goes to the schools that feed Cleburne County High School on his own. He didn't do that because I made him. He does it because he wants to. Because those are going to be eventually his kids that he has to progress his program. It's the right thing to do. And if people agree, that's fine. And if they don't, that's fine. I'm not going to lose any friends over it, I promise you. But I'll debate it and I'll talk about it without losing friends. I stand firmly on, we need to put our money where our mouth is. And if not, don't ever ask me again why we don't have art. I don't want to hear it. Why does Bremen City have art? Why does Oxford City have art? Y'all know the answer to that. Because they are able to fund them.
I mean, I know how it works. My grandkids go to Harrison County. My granddaughter is into that. She just was in a 7-member deal that went to state and won for acting and play, which makes no sense to me, but
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
She loves it. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Somebody's got to explain to me about the tax, because every class I've ever went to has told me that we can't do that.
Well, we're taught that we can't do that.
When I first discussed any of this with Ryan, I had a totally different angle I was going to do. I was going to basically ask y'all, hey, if we put, would y'all support us putting on basically yes or no, tax or no tax? We was told we couldn't do that. So, and I can find out further, but I came in here with a pretty solid idea from lawyers as to how we need to go about it. I wished it was the other way, because my whole thing with y'all, out of respect to y'all, I don't want y'all to make a decision without knowing what the people want. I hope y'all respect that.
And people should have the right to vote.
And people should have the right to vote.
If they want it, they'll vote yes. If they don't, they'll vote no.
But
you should never take that right from the people.
But it's something as important as this. The way it was done last time was just, okay, and it worked. I don't know how many people lost it. I mean, maybe none of the commissioners got any grief from it. I don't know. But there's no way we could be functioning right now the way we function if that had not happened. We'd still be in old schools. We'd still be in rundown bathrooms, and it would be embarrassing for people to come see it. I have been the benefactor of that, y'all. I have been the benefactor of that. I challenge you, if you wanna look at it, you go to any county school in the state of Alabama, take your phone and take some pictures, come back and take pictures of ours and tell me who's best. That's just the facilities. Then look at the state report card and tell you who's best academically. That's us. Ain't nothing I've done. Nothing. It's our people. It's our teachers. It's our students. But you have to be able to pour into them. And that's what I want to do. And it won't be me.
What kind of cost?
I think now, here's the other thing. I know on the new 1 cent, we can't tax food, because that was what was put in last year. You can tax hot food, but you can't tax cold food. So there's some work in there. I'm trying to run some numbers to see what is this 1 cent actually going to look at. I got a pretty good idea. But the total project, we're probably talking $20 million. Probably talking $20 million. But now you're like, $20 million. You know what a square foot costs right now in the school business? $475. That's $475 on everything we build. That's not counting architect fees, Alabama Building Commission, all the inspection we have to have done, all of the topological stuff we have to have done. And it's just government bureaucracy. I don't like it, but I can't get around it legally. Everything I do, I have to have it stamped.
So, how are you gonna word this referendum? Is this money the Board of Education needs to decide how to spend it?
No.
Or is this gonna go every bit to your?
Every
arts?
bit, every penny is gonna go to that technical school to fund the Performing Arts Center and staff.
So it's gonna be trade school and,
Yes. And then we're gonna be able to move those units back to the high schools.
I understood that.
Now, as far as the wording, a lawyer's gonna word it. I'm gonna tell him what I want, and he's gonna word, he or she's gonna word it. And I want it to be palatable and make sense. And anything that needs to be adjusted, I'm okay with adjusting, because I don't have all the answers. I have in my mind what I want to happen. But somebody may be able to say, well, let's don't do it that way, let's do it this way. Kind of like y'all had to kind of do with listening to the contract. I'm not an all-knowing superintendent. I just know what I want the end result to be. But yes, we would not spend this money anywhere else forever. That technical school would be 100% self-sufficient, which it needs to be.
Can I
Yeah.
point out, when we first passed the county sales tax, we, as a county, did have to get legislature to allow us to do that, you know. But when it comes to the school part, there once it sales tax, we could do it was my understanding, a one-time sales tax. So now, Chad and I have talked about that, and his attorneys are telling him that we can do that again, but he's asking that we put this on the referendum to get an idea so that all the pressure is not just on us guessing what the people want. So, and I'm sure our attorney and also Secretary of State and everything would, double check if this would, it's all according to their terms is what's going to happen.
Whatever the protocol needs to be is what we're gonna do. I mean, we gotta get somebody to tell us, okay, either way, it's gonna involve y'all one way or the other as far as, anytime there's a tax, a county tax, y'all's name is kinda gonna be
But
involved in
it
it.
needs to go to the public.
Yes, ma'am.
Public.
We're not gonna do it. If they tell me we can't go to public, then Chad Young's not gonna be a part of it.
Mr.
I'm not
Hughes.
gonna involve that.
So what you're telling me is the school tax is different than, because when I first came into office, I talked to Mary Pons, which is an attorney for the ACCA, or was, she retired, about doing a 1 cent tax for roads. And she told me it had to go through the legislature.
I believe that would be right.
That's true.
So school tax is different than
Well,
any other tax.
we were told at that time,
Because they passed one.
when we passed the 1 cent sales tax for schools, that we could do it one time, or 1 penny sales tax. And that's what we were told at the time. Now, things may have changed. Scott Cofield was superintendent at the time. We went around to every school and they gave their pitch. And so it was up to the commission.
See, I initially started with the legislature. I started with Randy Price and his brother. And that's where I thought we'd have to do that again. And we'd go through the legislature. We would have a vote, and then it would be levied upon the vote.
And that's what we all think, or
That's
thought.
what I thought.
Yeah. And
When I
I think
started
that's,
that process, I got told, no, can't do it that way. The county commission has to levy a tax without the vote of the people. They're saying that people can't it's the difference between a republic and a democracy. And we're a republic. So basically, the people cannot levy a tax on themselves because they've already elected y'all to do that. That's what I'm being
I
told.
understand all that.
I know, and
I'm just sort of lost here because,
it's
you
new.
see, when I first came into office, I asked about, what do they call it, just a tax that you
Splotch.
Splotch. I asked about that, and they said it's illegal. I went, can't do that. Well, then I asked, okay, can we go to the people for a 1 cent tax to go straight to roads? And I was told, then you can't do that. Well, we couldn't do it, you'd have to go through the legislature to do it. So, I mean, I know what you're.
Obviously,
you
I gotta
just want
find
the people to vote on whether or not they want to do it, basically.
It's called an advisory referendum, which,
It's basically the same as we did with the fire association when we were doing the fire fee. We gave the opportunity for the people to vote on it. It was set up and we put it on the ballot and, you know, of course, the people voted it down. But they did have the opportunity to vote. This is the same thing.
and part of my job would be sometime next semester, probably starting around April. So April, May, June, all the way up till I'm done, going out to the public, having town meetings, having meetings at school so that people can ask questions about, get the word out, hey, y'all are gonna vote, yes or no on this. Let me tell you what this is. And give them an opportunity to ask questions in a forum where they'll know what they're voting on. Get them educated, and if they agree, fine. If they're educated and disagree, that's fine. Because I respect people's opinion. But that's gotta be done prior to the vote in next November.
So, if the people said no, apparently the way you're saying, Chad, that we could still vote yes.
You could,
If they voted
yes.
yes,
I could
favor,
vote no.
you could still vote no.
Correct.
So, and I know we all gonna have to, and it's just part of our nature, we all gotta double check ourselves. So, I know that y'all will be asking questions and stuff.
And it would be giving y'all a thermometer.
Yeah,
And I think it's gonna be obvious one way or the other. I would hope, that would be my hope, is it would be obvious one way or the other what people want. And y'all represent those people, because they're the ones that voted for y'all. So,
The only thing I see, and I'm just sitting here, and you just sprung this on me, I ain't had 24 hours to think about it. And that's great. I think we need to, education is great, you need to spend the money on education. But somebody's gonna say, well, what about the roads?
Yeah.
And, I mean,
Terry, I get that all the time, because I get people asking me about, why don't the school system take money from this, and why don't the school money take this, why don't schools get this money? Well, I'm a Cleburne County citizen. I see it all as the same thing. And I don't know how that's gonna translate in the future, because I don't know who's gonna get my job. But if y'all read between the lines a little bit, how many problems have y'all had from the school system in 8 years?
not even,
Not any. There's been opportunities for there to be problems.
but you see.
You
what I'm
know,
talking
you
about.
understand there's some opportunities there that there could be problems.
Yeah.
And y'all know as, the general citizen may not understand that. Because I could be ugly on some stuff. The other counties have. I'm not that way. I ride on the roads. My son was a deputy for him. I want to be safe. I want my car tires on the right side to be okay. You know, I'm for all of it. And if anybody ever tells you any different, they're lying, and you need to come ask me. And I'll tell you.
You and I have had some discussions.
But they've been good.
Yeah.
We've had good discussions. And you ain't had a crossword that I'm aware of. I ain't had a crossword with any of y'all. And it's gonna stay that way.
But you do see that, I
I
feel
do.
that that's gonna be a question
I
that the
do.
people is gonna come and ask us. Well,
But look at it from my end, Terry. That ain't my job to raise money for y'all.
yeah, I know. Everybody's gotta look after their own.
My job is to do what's best for your kids and your grandkids. So we're all on the same side.
I think it would be a wonderful thing if the county did have this center. What's going through my mind now, you know, you look at our economy, and we have so many families that they can't buy groceries, you know,
Right.
put gas in their car.
Absolutely agree. And that kid's gonna take art, and that kid's gonna get their school paid for. And that other kid, the little sister's gonna take drama and voice lessons. Right now, we can't do that. and they're falling through the cracks. And it's that point, at some point, they may not be able to buy their gas, but they definitely ain't gonna buy gas if they can't afford to go to school. And I don't think there's anybody in Cleburne County right now that needs something school-wide and they hadn't got it. If they have, please give me a list, and I'll have it what they need tomorrow.
I'm just thinking it's a bad time. Well, I don't know what the economy's gonna do between now and next November.
The Lord may come back.
Yeah, if it stays like
I'll be
it
okay with
is,
that.
it's a
Nobody
bad
knows
time
what
to
to
vote.
I've been being told for the last 3 years that the economy's fixing to tank. And when I watch the news that I watch, I tend to agree. But I was just in a financial meeting with the state of Alabama about 2 weeks ago, and we have already taken $2 billion more of tax money than was expected. Now, I don't know how to explain that. It doesn't make sense and I don't want to I'm a conservative Republican, so that's, okay, so y'all know where I stand. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's good news. You know, when the state of Alabama, when Dr. Mackey is sitting right there and he tells me, Chad, we're going to be able to fund the same thing we funded last year plus a little more. That's good news. Well, Dr. Mackey, how's that happening? Well, we've already taken in $2 billion more. We got 2 months left.
What
That
do they
doesn't make
do with the trust fund money? I mean,
Right now, they're putting it in a lieutenant governor fund. He gets to decide who gets it. And I don't like that.
there's so
They
much
didn't
out
ask
there. I mean, they have, last count I had was 11 point something billion dollars.
Well, you might want to contact the lieutenant governor.
And then,
I already have. I already put the day that it opened up, I had my papers on his desk. I've done that for 8 years.
Your timeline, first of all, you're going to the legislature to see if I can pass and put this on the ballot for general election,
For
right?
general election, November 24th.
Okay. And you're just giving us a heads up now, is there anything?
Well, I hate to say it that way, but, because I want y'all to be,
On board.
I hope y'all are on board and with me in the fact that I'm not saying that you're gung-ho, we're gonna do this. We're gung-ho that we want to know what the people want. That's where I need y'all. Yeah.
And I'm sure that the representative and the senator will both want to ask you questions about that. So where you're on board.
And I'll answer any question. If I don't have the answer, I'll find it. But if anybody's next on the block, it's not my board. They are all 100% for it, from what they have told me, of course. But if anybody's going to be talked about over it, it'll be me. This is me, because I'm in charge. I'm the boss. So, there's no need for anybody to be upset with anybody on the board. They be upset with me.
Okay, I got a question, I got a comment.
Okay.
Where you at on the money for new Randall School? Is that paid out yet?
We had a little glitch because of that lieutenant governor fund. I didn't get as much from lieutenant governor as I had planned. My plan is that, I'll tell you this, the things I've built as a superintendent, we have not used tax money to build. I've got grants, I've got bonds. The people of the county haven't invested money. Now, the money that they're investing, of course, we use to function
So we still owe on that?
on.
We still owe on the note or the bonds, whatever y'all did on the new school?
We do not owe, we owe on Rammer High School, yes,
Yeah.
before I was,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't owe anything that I've built. Everything I've built is paid for.
I understand that, but
Yes.
I'm talking about as a county.
And see, by law, we have to have debt. We
Okay.
can't be debt free.
This is something you probably don't want to know, don't really care to hear, or any of these other people, but we were just in a meeting last week. Our association, the number one thing our association is going to the legislature with this coming year is mental health. You was talking about all the money that the state's got. Well, that's one of the reasons the state's got money, because 3 years ago, they dumped that on the county with zero funding. So they do stuff like that to us all the time, and we can't get ahead for all the crap we catching from the state, you know.
They do to us too. This is by law now, I have to have someone hired to do mental health. You know how much money the state gives me to hire somebody? $40,000.
See, they don't give us anything.
But who you gonna hire for $40,000? Because you got that's including their benefits now. So you're talking maybe $25,000 and then 15 in benefits. And this person's a skilled, white collar worker.
That's just an example of what they're
So
doing.
did I hire one? I did,
Yeah.
and it's costing us. In fact, I got more than one, because I made a decision with COVID and all those kids staying at home, mental health was very important at this time. We got kids that didn't get anything for a long time. Now, we were open very quickly, but we had some kids, we did 3 days a week, we did 4 days a week. We had some possible, not anything to do with the school system, but in the sense of mental health. And we're not in control of a lot of the mental health issues they have. But I've contracted with 2 mental health agencies that are at our discretion to use, and we pay for that. I had my special ed coordinator, she's got some grants to help pay for that. So my people are actively looking, but I understand what you're saying. We get things thrown at us too.
I mean, that happens to us every
And
year.
y'all really have a way of, we have more access probably for those type of things than y'all do. I get people asking me why don't I repave the road, going down, they want me to repave the road. So a lot of people don't even understand who's doing what.
Okay. But
Yes, sir.
you have a timeline, if the start of the line and you're able to start this project, when would the
Yes.
building be occupied?
We would start immediately, but it's gonna be probably in 2 phases. The first phase would probably be the Performing Arts Center that would have classrooms in it, and I have a rough sketch of what that looks like. The second phase would be bringing up to date the technical school, because that was built in 1971, I think, maybe 74, I keep 1 or 4. The land was given in 1971. It's 10 acres that
We opened in 75.
Okay, so 71 is when they gave them the land to do it, or bought the land. I don't know, I'm assuming it was bought. So you can imagine 1975 to now, the upgrades it needs. So we're gonna have to upgrade, and again, I don't mean that negative, because our people out there do a great job with what they have. But just to give you an example, our medical facility we have for medicine, because we do medicine, what do you call it, pre-med, or whatever you want to call it out there, and it's just not what we need. We need something better. We need more room, we need more stuff. So the first phase would be the actual center with the classroom, the extra 4 classrooms. The second phase would be redoing the technical school that exists there. And then, of course, the initial money that come in would be used to pay for the facilities. And how much we would be able to delegate to those salaries, I don't know, because it gets back to what's our payment, how much are we bringing in every month, what's our payment. There'll have to be some of the funds that I put aside probably used for some of the upfront stuff. But once again, I'm just telling you this because I probably won't be making some of those decisions, but that's the plan. So don't say, I hope 2 years from now, you don't say, well, Chad said you were gonna do this way, but you didn't do it that way. Well, some of it may not be my decision. The big part on me is getting this thing off the ground, getting people to understand, like you said, it's gonna be your mark. I don't want people to wonder, can they put some of it here, some of it here? No, we don't do that. Now, some of the, for example, I'll give you an example. We want the second grade from Pleasant Grove and Fruithurst to be able to get on the bus and go to this Performing Arts Center once a week and take some kind of class. So right now, our tech school is 10th through 12th grade most. But my idea is to change that. It's going to be some of our gifted people. Right now, our gifted teacher has to travel from one school to the next. Well, my concept would be the gifted kids go to the Performing Arts Center. Maybe not all the time, but every now and then, get them kind of immersed in some of this stuff. Okay. Any more questions for me? I took a bunch of time, I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about it. Not because, if it benefits me, it'll be my grandkids. I don't know where they're going to school. Right now, they probably go to Bowden, because that's where my son coaches.
Let me throw one more thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is just off the top of my head. When the trade school was built, which I was a student, I was in first class that graduated from 2 years. The plan back then was to build a high school out there. Why would the
Can I take a
performing
fifth
arts
amendment on
deal, why would the performing arts deal be better than to build a big high school out there? If you could have all the room at the two schools.
My personal opinion would come into that. And my personal opinion is I like communities. For the same reason I don't want to shut Fruithurst down. You know, about 10 years ago, they said if you didn't have 200 students in your elementary school, then they were going to force you to consolidate. Well, we don't have 200 students at Pleasant Road today. But I don't want to consolidate because that community is driven by that school. And those people take pride in that. For the same reason, you know, and you might have to change my mind. Financially, it would make sense to build a high school. Financially.
I mean, I don't
But
know.
does it culturally?
Granddaughter graduates now, because I.
About
my grandkids
7.
go.
About 7.
Okay, my granddaughter's in the 9th grade, and they gonna graduate 300 in her class in Harrison County.
Right.
And
There's some pros to that, there's some
But
definite
they got a lot,
cons to that.
they got a lot more money, you know, just because of sales tax and what have you.
The study that I would look into if I was the superintendent would be how did Clay County benefit from it? And I'll tell you this, they're having trouble paying their bills.
Clay County?
School. Very little upgrades, probably the same as it was when it was built.
So you think the performing
Now,
arts
you
deal?
probably find some other instances where that's not true. The closest county to us that has done it in Alabama is Clay County, and it hasn't been as successful as they thought it would be financially. The kids, I think, have adapted to it, and they don't even know that Limeville actually used to have a school, but their parents did.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sorry.
but then that might fall back to the Board of Education, they may not have the same caliber of board as we do.
Correct.
But, okay, you personally, you may not want to answer this question. You think the performing arts would be better
I do.
than high school?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I do. And here's the way consolidating 2 high schools would go. Whatever superintendent does that, they will have 1 term. And there'll be death threats.
Might not get all of one.
I'm just telling you, there'll be death threats. Because I know the one that did it at Clay County. No, right or wrong, 5 years forward from that, everything will be fine.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I understand, I was right in the middle of
You know,
it in high
it's
school.
just, you know, to me, you see the good in it and the bad. But
Yeah.
I look at it as combining these kids where they don't know there's a difference. They're all,
And that would take about 5 years.
it's one big happy family instead of.
And it would be fine. It's, okay, my first part of my career, I taught math and coached at Cleburne County High School. My daddy graduated there in 1954. I went to Ramsey High School. All we knew about Cleburne County High School was what people told us, and most time it wasn't good, okay? I didn't go to tech school. I was friends with some of them. I was friends with Brent Thompson because we played in several of them, because we played Babe Ruth baseball against each other. That's the only ones I knew. The others, we tried to have the same girlfriend and we hated each other, okay? So, when I took my job at Cleburne County High School, I didn't know what to expect. Here's what I found out. It's the same people. There's no difference. And it was everybody. Color didn't matter. Money didn't matter. It was the same people. I taught his son. And his son would fit in regardless of what school he was in. And everybody there would. And I know people have trouble with this if I can say this. Color doesn't matter. You can fit anywhere you want to in Cleburne County. So would it work? Yes, it would work. Is it worth doing? Somebody's got to put a paper and pencil to it, and I'm not. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
I'll shut up and shut up, I guess. I mean, so you're talking about $20 million, do you not think that's an option that needs to be explored before you spend $20 million?
$20 million wouldn't touch a new school that would house what we got.
But you could probably get
Probably
some,
talking 60 or 70 right now.
but you could probably get some stuff.
This is only 10,000 square feet. Brandon High School right now would probably cost 30 million instead of 7. Because when the Alabama legislature passed a law, the whole building has to be a storm shelter. So now when you build a school, you build a school and a storm shelter. You're doubling the cost. So, yeah, it could be done in my lifetime. I would, 10 years from now, if some poor old superintendent wants to try to do that, I'll keep my mouth shut. You can count on that. Because it won't be my decision to make.
But once you get to be my age, or even when I was 40 years old, you know, I was in high school at the time, and I was dead set against it, you know, because just like you said, you heard the stories and all that stuff. But we went to school with a Heflin bunch at trade school. There's no problem at all.
Correct.
I just think in the long run, that would be the way to go, in my opinion.
Okay, so, but if you do, you still gotta build a performing arts center.
But which one do you want to do first?
Performing arts center.
Okay.
See how that goes. Anybody else? I appreciate y'all's time. I'm sorry, but this is important. It's important to me. I have done a lot of work. I've done a lot of thinking. I've done a lot of praying. And I have some good advice. When you take on something like this, you gotta be okay if it don't work. So I'm okay if it don't work. But I'm gonna go down fighting for it in the right way. So thank y'all for your time. I'm gonna listen to some of those other people since they have to listen to me.
Chad, I know you was talking about you singing. You can sing with me at the parade on Saturday.
My throat's a little sore, Ryan.
Because it ain't my career ain't gonna hurt your career.
I told, I got Jerry Rogers, you know, he did all these events. I said, Jerry, he said, when I get sick, I ain't got nobody to fill in. I said, Jerry, I can fill in one time.
One time.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Well, since you and I ain't running, it'll be all right.
It'll be all right, yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Ogle, thank you for coming. And you ready?
I'm gonna offer this.
Yes, sir.
Officer over here, is he gonna speak?
Yes, sir.
He was here, I got here early, I usually get places early, but he was here before me. If you want him to go.
Joe, you want to go?
Sure.
Come ahead, Joe. You were just on the list. I went through all of my elected officials.
You're not gonna speak on the performing arts center.
Y'all know Mr. Officer Lathers here, and you know all the commissioners, I guess, do you?
I hadn't met a person probably.
I hope I don't have to meet.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, unless you're driving an 18-wheeler, you're probably not gonna see me, so,
Mr. Hendricks is over in the what we call the Rambert District, or District 4, and District 1 is Ms. Cobb, and I'm sorry, District 3, forgive me. District 4 is the Chulafini, Trickham Valley, Mr. Hill, and then Mr. Owens. You know, he's kind of quiet. And he's got the Heflin District. But you probably met Mr. Owens before. He's not here tonight.
okay.
He's real quiet. When he's asleep.
When it's asleep, I see. Well, I appreciate the introduction. Figured before, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Been a trooper for like almost 18 years. Actually started out here in the Tri-County. Was a resident of Heflin for 3 years. I love my time here. Love the people here. About 10 years ago, I had a chance to transfer from the highway patrol side to the motor carrier safety division. I still spend a lot of my time here in Cleburne County, but mostly up at the way station. Let's see, back in 2021, COVID hit and all, we lost a trooper. His name was Jason Weiss, and about a year later, we lost another trooper. His name was Larry Young. Jason was 41, Larry was 68. They were both part of my unit that I'm in now, and frequently visited the way station and performed commercial motor vehicle inspections and dealt with truck drivers and whatnot. And it had been laid on my heart. It bothered me that they never got to see or enjoy retirement. I would like to do something for them. So I come before this work session to propose to try to get a resolution drawn up for the naming of the inspection shed. I know you're probably thinking a shed, it's, 12 or 14, nothing like this. This is a big shed that you're able to drive 18-wheeler in and conduct a commercial motor vehicle inspection on. I didn't realize I had to go through a lot of, I thought it was, just kind of get signs and talk to a couple people, but the more I talked to Holly McCain through Outdot, with a weigh station located, I go through the proper channels, and so I was bringing that before y'all today. And I kind of have a prototype of what I'd like to have for the resolution drawn up and kind of honor them. So.
And you're asking for us to write a letter on their behalf because we still have to go through Aldott and our state representative. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I checked with Ms. McCain. She said I can either go through the Cleburne County Commission or through the state legislature.
Oh.
And so I figured, since it's right here in Cleburne County,
Yeah.
I would much rather have Cleburne County folks involved with this process.
So if we can do this legally, are y'all okay with putting a resolution together to pass for this to happen?
Yes.
Okay? Yes, sir.
You're not asking for any money, you just want the permission to do it.
Correct.
This is just going out of the way station, correct?
That is correct. And through the proper channels that Aldott has informed me that I have to go through, that's why I stand before you today. So no money.
Do you have any language or any documents that tell us what we need in our resolution?
Sure. Holly McCain has emailed me a couple of examples, so I would be happy to forward those.
Yeah,
That way, if you look at it.
You'll forward those to me, and I'll forward them on to her and the rest of you. And everybody good without making a new business? New business good?
Just we need to make any changes.
Right. Okay.
That's all I have, except for, I guess, I can get the date later for the next meeting or something.
The next meeting will be on is it the 18th?
2 weeks from today, whatever it is.
18th
Okay.
at 5.
18.
And I greatly appreciate y'all's time.
Yes, sir.
And, attention in this matter.
Yes, sir.
But-
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. I got 2 little girls at home, so I'm gonna slide in. So.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Have a good.
See you. Mr. O.
I am here the same reason as before when I spoke to you at the last meeting, and that is representing that group that wants to assume the new Hopewell schoolhouse. There was a man that spoke after me that night, and I think Mr. Owens suggested we talk later, and we did. He was alone. He didn't have anybody else, but he was after the same thing, and he said he would be glad to join with us. Since then, I've had 3 more that's called, and it's growing. It's something that we feel needs to happen to get it upgraded, take care of it, make a community something out of it, and utilize it where and how people want to. So I'm back to put that back before you.
I guess the commission would probably be waiting, on some sort of paperwork saying that y'all at least apply for 501c3 or something like that.
Well, now I wish I'd have known that.
Okay.
I don't see us start doing a lot of work unless we've got a favorable situation.
Okay. And I can't speak for them, and I apologize, but I think that's what you guys are probably open to that. But y'all they want to make sure before they do give it to anyone that you would be in where you can
To
accept it.
establish that 501c where you've got, where you right now, you're not able to get any fundings or any backings until you get that 501c established.
And respectfully, I saw no need for us to go after it till we had an opinion of what the vote was gonna be.
You want to speak, Terry?
It may be a catch-22 because we can't give county property or county a truck or anything away to an individual that might profit from it.
All right, but I'll ask this.
Okay.
If we get that 501c and present it to you, are we gonna get a favorable vote?
Then the.
I'm good, but, you know, I
The
can't vote
commission-
tonight, but
Yeah,
No, I'm not asking that. I'm saying if we do that, we'll get diligently on that. I think Yvonne's working on it today, but,
So you haven't applied for your certification?
no. And why would there be a reason to if we didn't know if we was gonna get it?
but you see our side of it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't give you a dump truck from the county out there, and you're gonna go to work and start making money. That's just sort of the way it is, but
Okay. Do you see my end of it too?
I do,
Okay.
I do.
And that's
I
why
would
we haven't
suggest-
done it.
Okay.
I would suggest to go after it and then let the commission vote after y'all get your 501c.
I don't see any in this group, anybody that's wanting to yank it out from under you or anything. I think that's their intention is to, we're dragging, I think they're intentionally dragging their feet and not going forward on trying to auction it off to wait on someone like your group to come up with a 501c3.
And I think Yvonne's working on that today. I'll find out, but we'll get to work diligently on that.
My apologies for the misunderstanding, but I think that's, and I'm speaking on behalf, and I don't know, they could all change their mind, but I do detect from their personalities that they would like to give it to a 501c3.
Then we'll get to work on it.
Thank you for taking that on and saying it.
I think I spoke to you last time about after the meeting, there is, and I don't know what the name of it is, Miss Casey is involved with it, some kind of historical deal here in Heflin that is a 501c, and at that meeting you and I attended, she spoke up and said that she would be glad to take it to her board and maybe temporarily bring someone in underneath that until you could get the 501c.
Are you talking about Beverly?
Yes.
Yeah, and Yvonne's gonna be talking to her today.
Okay.
That might be a pass-through
Yeah.
group.
Because it's a little over, it's right at $700 for that 501c. Because we just had the animal shelter people, you know, they just got theirs, and it was right there.
It may be a pass-through if you could get them agreed to take it, then we could give it to them, and then they in turn, once you get, if they felt comfortable that you're gonna get your 501, they would just pass it on to you
I
guys.
mean, I don't know how long it takes to get one. I mean, I've heard anything from 6 months to 2 years, so I've never tried.
It only took them about less than 5 weeks to get theirs. And that's getting a lawyer, I think Tawana Gibson donated her time, and she was able to get the paperwork done for them and got it through there, and they got it, you know, like I said, it was less than 5 weeks. They got their 501c.
I've been here longer, but maybe that's so. Maybe that's so. I've been here, it's a lot harder now to do it.
That I wouldn't doubt. But we'll get
She
to work on
worked good on it, so she got it.
I don't think you're gonna have an issue if you can
it. All
get
right,
that.
thank you much.
Yes, sir. Mr. Elder?
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone.
Make him take you out to eat, okay, Paul?
Take me out.
I apologize for the short notice, but I heard Mr. Owens wasn't here, so I figured he'd be. I joke.
Hey, you know us too well.
Yes, sir. So, I think I mentioned last time, but my name is Matt Everett, I'm with PPM Consultants. We do the environmental consulting at the highway department.
Right.
And as you guys know, I'm not sure, there was a fuel spill there many years ago. We've been working to clean that up. It's being covered by the Alabama Tank Trust Fund. And just And you guys kind of update where we are right now. It's been a while since I've been here, I thought.
So I correct something? man?
Yes, sir.
We paid the first million.
You paid it early on, and then
Uh,
do some good workings behind the scenes you guys have approved by the trust fund. So yes, you have put money into it, I'm not, so. But currently it's being paid for by the trust fund. So, if you remember, we have two systems out there. We have the northern system, which is up by the road, and we have the southern system, which is down low. The southern system, we put that new system in February 2016. December 31st last year, we actually shut that one down. It wasn't even a major component, but also that lower area, we've gotten, it's not pristine, but it's much better than what it was. A&M and I discussed it, and we decided to shut that system down, and that's saving power, it's saving a lot of our operating costs, and it's cut the cost probably about a third to half off of what you guys had been on that. And the northern system started in August of 2016, and it's still going. And it's going to go a little while longer. We're getting better, but it still has to run some. So the southern system, in those few years, 6 years it ran, the operating time was about 65%. And a lot of that is very common for these systems. When you have power glitches or mechanical breakdowns, the system shuts down, and we have to come out and get it up and going. Due to the telemetry out here, or due to the phone issues we're having here, telemetry really didn't work, so we didn't have notice that it was down, and we could come back out the next day or 2 days later. And typically we can do that a lot of times, but we can't do it all the time, even if we did have a telemetry. But we were running into a lot of power glitches out there, so we had 65% runtime. And typically the average is around 70% for these systems. There's a lot of new components doing all that. So it's a little bit below that, but still overall not bad. In that time, it pulled 3.2 million groundwater, million gallons of groundwater out of the subsurface. And in that, there was about 8,000 equivalent gallons of gasoline. Now, it's not pure gasoline, came out of this vapor phase that we treat and we discharge.
How many gallons?
That's 8,000 gallons from the southern system. The northern system, it had a 68% run, or it has a 68% run time. And it's pulled out 4.8 million gallons of water and 11,400 equivalent gallons of fuel. So all said and told, those two systems have pulled out over 6 million gallons of groundwater and 19,400 equivalent gallons of gasoline. Plus, early on, we pulled almost 3,000 gallons of pure gasoline out of groundwater, or above the groundwater. So we've made a huge dent in things. Concentrations are going down. With this drought we've been having, I do suspect we may have a little bit of rebound every now and then. When you have drought, it looks bad at first when we have concentrations in the groundwater that go up. What it is as that water's dropping down, it's opening up pore space and it's moving, the hydraulics change drastically on the ground, and we can open up and move things around much better. So I suspect we may get some spikes in this event and the next sampling event, but it actually helps our recovery with our vapor system because now we're pulling vapor and air across all these dry areas in the soil. Where it had water before, we've got that, with the drought, it opens up the pore spaces, you can pull a lot more vapors through it. So we think that's going to actually help things out with the drought. Not that I want a drought, but that is one positive thing with the drought. So, we've been saving the groundwater for several years now. The concentrations are going down. They still have a long way to go, but they are going down. And we do see fluctuations, but that's typical for something like this. We're still coming out every 2 weeks, and we're changing our recovery field every 2 weeks, pulling from different wells. And that way we're hitting various areas across the site and letting them recharge and hit higher concentrations. If you remember, you guys had a $1.75 million cap with the trust fund. Good news is the state has changed that, and it's up to $2 million starting January 1st. So we've got another $250,000 of coverage that's coming up very shortly here.
How much you spent so far?
As of the last payment request, which went out probably 2 or 3 months ago, we've spent $1.1 million with the trust fund. So, and now that we've got the northern, or the southern system down, our operating costs have reduced. I meant to bring the new number of what it is. I want to say it's about $100,000 a year right now. It may be less than that, but that's what's kind of stuck in my head right now. So we're trying to continually keep the costs down, and we're trying to get this thing knocked out as soon as possible.
So you shut the southern unit down, is that gonna be a permanent shutdown?
It is still out there. We still have power connected to it if we need to use it. It will need a new liquid ring pump, which that pumps, to put that in is probably $10,000–$15,000. So it's not an easy fix getting it back running, but it is doable. Those pumps, like I said, that pump had almost 40,000 hours. That's a lot of time for an electric pump. And it's a 40, it's either a 40 or 50 horsepower pump, so like, it's a big motor and
But you feel comfortable with the one that's running, pumping out?
Yeah, the one that's running right now is up where the tanks used to be, where the lines were going to be, and that's where we have most of the mats. The southern one was designed to stop stuff from leaving the site and getting in the creek, which it has done now. And it was treating the downgrading edge of the plume, but like I said, we've gotten that knocked down pretty well. So now we're trying to get the source. And at the time last year, I was talking with ADEM. We talked about repiping that southern system to the wells on the north side and using both systems to get that. And ADEM wasn't too keen on that because they didn't want to spend money on it. I think it would have been good to knock things down faster, but it is, like I said, we've kept the cost up higher. There is a balancing act. There's not a right or wrong, just different opinion. But, so they elected to cut that southern system off, but it is there if we need it down the road.
Okay, would it be better if it was set there if we need it in the future, or would we be better off to sell it more and get something out of it? Or is it worth getting something out of it? Because we did.
At most, you'll probably get $10,000 at most.
Oh, really?
What I'd rather do with it and what we have been doing with it is I'm using it for parts for the northern system. So if I got a transfer pump that goes out and it's a $1,500 pump, rather than getting a new pump for $1,500, I can go down there and pull something off that system. I'm not waiting for 2 months for a new transfer pump and also not costing them anything like that. We can sell it, but like I said, it's really.
If it's like a running one at, it's better than that, it's working one after parts. So, and you know what my final question is gonna be.
When we're gonna wrap this thing up?
Yep.
Yes, sir. I wish I knew. I really do. When you get to this stage, we got the mass up, 20,000 gallons per year. We got that, and now we're getting down, but we have to get the concentrations in groundwater down to a certain limit. And this is another thing we are still evaluating, is do we keep running the system, or do we go with another remedial method? Think if you just spill gas in here, you got all this gas in here. I'm gonna come in here with a vacuum, I'm gonna suck all that up. And it does a great job doing it. If I keep putting a vacuum on what's on the tile, is it going to get that up, or do I need to come in and scrub it a different way, or do I need to use a cleaner on it? There's different things we can do, but if we do that, there's a capital expense up front. So the question, it's a balancing act, is it more economical to keep running this and slowly dwindle the numbers down? Or do we stop this and spend a bunch of money right now? When I say bunch, it's probably half of what you have left in the fund to come in here and inject something in the ground and then let that take over. Initially, like I said, it'd be anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 to inject this material, which puts a big dent in it, but in the long term, it could be cheaper because now we don't have the operating costs of that system.
So we probably got 10 more years worth of money and runtime just as is.
Yes, sir. So we are still evaluating different options out there. There's different things. There's carbon capture. It looks almost like an ink. It's got a little microscopic carbon powder in it, and it's a liquid. You inject it in the ground, And that disperses, and what it is, it's like charcoal. When you have charcoal and you got contaminant absorbs to the charcoal, and then it's got a biological factor where the natural bugs in the ground will actually eat that carbon, the petroleum compounds off the carbon, and it kind of regenerates. And it helps, it captures it, keeps it from leaving the property, but also it holds it in place and it promotes natural degradation. Very good thing. But with that, it's very expensive and you have to come in contact with the contaminant. So when you go to inject it, a lot of times the sites, you gotta do a hole every 5 feet. So in this room, if you did it every 5 feet, you're talking about 40, 50 holes. I've got 3 acres out there.
And if you miss it, that's not gonna be.
That's correct. And you'll get most of it, but you're gonna have some little pockets. So that's an option. There's another thing we do a lot of ozone injection. Typically that's more of a smaller concentrated area where we go in there and spark ozone and it destroys it. And we have very good, it's been very positive on most of our sites. The problem is once again the aerial extent of this one, it's going to be costly to do that. So.
I am going to ask one more question.
Yes.
It's really dumb.
No.
Okay, just say this is day one.
Mm-hmm.
You fix to go out there and take a look at it, and you know what you know now, but it's day one. Would there even be a cleanup?
Yes.
Would there be one here?
Would there even be a cleanup?
Oh,
Would it
okay,
be
still
bad enough to
need.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if there was say they took the tanks out today and did the product line closure, found an impact, we would go down and take our groundwater samples. Most groundwater samples would fail what's called the 8M initial screening levels. They're almost drinking water regulations. So assuming someone's going to put a water well on that piece of property, that's their screening level. And that's what triggers the assessment. So then we do more wells and those numbers we would use, and we do a risk assessment where we calculate, is there a risk to human health and the environment? And there's 2 different components to that. One is there a risk to residents or commercial workers by inhalation of the vapors, or drinking the water, or bathing in the water? Well, no one's using that groundwater as a drinking water source, so we don't have to worry about that ingestion. You still have to worry about the vapors coming up through the soil, under a slab, and into workspace. All those numbers pass. We are fine with those numbers. The second component of the risk assessment in Alabama is you have to look at groundwater resource protection and stream protection. And we have to assume that someone can put a water well in 500 feet from the property boundary. It's just the rule they have. Unless you guys put an ordinance in saying no one can put a water well in the city of Hopewell or in Cleburne County, we have to assume that someone can put a water well there. So we have to treat the groundwater up here, that's up on the hill, so that someone that puts a well down here doesn't get impacted. And that well down here, someone's going to drink the way that 8M considers it, 2 liters of water every day for their life for 70 years, and they'll have a 1 in a million chance of getting cancer. That's what we have to clean up. We have no other options. Also, we've got that creek down there, so we have stream protection bags, we have to use those. So yes, in the concentrations we have now, if I remember right, up in the source area, we're around 10 parts per million, or 10 milligrams per liter. I think our number up there is like 1 milligram per liter, we've got it down. Now as you get down in the lower part, our cleanup level is like 0.3. So as you get closer to that hypothetical drinking water source or the stream, we have to get much lower concentration. So yes, something would have to be done. Long answer about that, but yes.
Go ahead.
So we need to make a decision on leave it like it is, or inject that stuff, or what is your recommendation? And then
I'm still,
it's up to us.
we have engineers that work with me, and they're brilliant on this stuff. I know, I've been doing it for years, so I know a lot of this stuff. I want to get with engineers again and sit down with them and have another meeting where we discuss a little roundtable of what all our options are for this stuff. I did have another firm evaluating another type of remedial method that we could use our existing system piping, bring in another trailer unit, and it's more of a short-term rental, like 6 months. And they've got a new technology that they can pull water out, inject stuff into it, put it back in the groundwater, and it helps degrade it with bugs. they've got some great case studies. The problem is, most case studies for groundwater remediation happen in Florida, where you have a nice sandy aquifer and water moves nice and smooth. That's not the case here. We've got silt, we've got a preferential flow paths with some old channeling under there. So I'm on the fence on if that is even an option here, but they have not gotten any numbers back from me yet. I'm still waiting on that. But once again, if the technology is effective, it's a much cheaper cost, but I've never used it personally. It's only been used maybe twice in Alabama. I don't know if I want to gamble what's left in your thing on a new technology.
Would this not be more of an AM decision then?
ADEM is involved, they would approve it,
Okay.
but they do not recommend it.
Huh.
So,
But you have to,
well, they do not recommend, we'll say.
you have to keep them, you probably have to keep them more abreast of what's going on when you do us, don't you?
Yes.
Right now,
Yeah.
especially with the,
And also, the ADEM project manager you guys had on this, he died in a car accident back in late summer, so we have a new ADEM project manager on this.
sorry to hear that.
So, yeah, it's shocking news, but yeah, JJ passed away from a car accident. So we have a new ADEM project manager that's new to this site. He's been there for a while, so he's still getting up to date on the site. But, they will, ADEM, we've done so many projects with them. They know us, they know our reputation. They go with our recommendations 95% of the time. So,
Anybody else have any question?
So you're gonna get back to us with your recommendations, and then we gotta consider that ADEM don't like what you're
Well,
proposing, and
that's up to you guys. I mean, it is your trust fund money, and if you guys want to have a say in how we move forward, I'm glad to do it. I'll present different things to you and let you guys decide. You trust our engineers in their decisions, we can go that route. It's, it is your money, so I don't want to, not that you'll get money back from it, whatever's left over, but it's your money. If we go past that $2 million cap, it is your investment into it, so.
but if you did the charcoal or charcoal-like substance and it fails, then ADEM is not gonna wanna give us any more money. Whereas if we keep going on this like it is now, which they approve of, and we run out of money, they're more likely to give us more money.
No, you will not get any more money. Once that cap is reached, the cap is reached.
Why did they raise it this past year?
That was statewide, it wasn't just your site, that was statewide. They increased the, it's not tax, the trust fund rate on the fuel surcharge. And also, they know that with the rising cost of inflation of all parts, costs have gone up on remediations. They've made a statewide change to increase it to $2 million cap.
I may just retire the chair.
I hope to close this out before I
Did you want to sing at the parade too?
So,
I can't sing.
so like I said, we can evaluate everything, I can present options to you guys. Do you guys feel comfortable making a decision on the technical side? And I'm not saying no, I just want to know, are you guys comfortable with that?
If there's no way we're gonna get additional money, we're going to rely on you.
Okay. And like I said, I'll keep you updated and let you know if we're making a change ahead of time. I'll say, I'll tell you, this is what we're planning on recommending to ADEM and see what you guys think. I won't make any final changes in our design until I get your blessing. How about that?
Keep us in the loop and tell us what you come up with and what ADEM come up with, what they come back with.
Or what are they gonna hold us to, really? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Appreciate you coming, hanging out.
No problem.
Mike Doran's gonna speak. Y'all remember Mike? Y'all, I'm just kidding. Mike's talks more than you do, Chief.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got this somewhere.
Do you know Mike?
Oh, I know Mike, yes.
Yeah, he is a talker, isn't he? Anything y'all want else on the agenda?
Oh, we're ready for our list?
Yes, we're ready for the list. I think we done went through everybody.
Okay, I understand we have a lawsuit. I want our attorney at the next meeting to read us in because I don't know anything about it. And I sort of feel I should know something about it.
What are you talking about? I didn't know we had a lawsuit.
Well, see, I didn't until last week.
Who sued?
I just been told we're being sued.
I can explain a little bit about it.
Thanks.
We have been, the commission has been making a lawsuit with a law, but it's pretty much dead in the water right now because it's an accusation against a county employee, a former county employee. But the name is not an employee that we've ever had before. The named person was never a county employee.
So why is the county being sued then?
It's the commission because it was an inmate in our jail is making an accusation against a former employee. So the commission has been named in it. It has been sent to us, our attorney, and it has been sent to County Risk Services. But they're basically saying, we won't cover it because of the kind of allegations that are involved. But as of right now, there's really nothing to it because the person that's been accused, that name is not an employee that we've ever had. So right now, there's nothing to it other than the fact that you just should be aware that it's out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I trust you. We hired you. You're our administrator. I want our attorney to explain.
Absolutely, 100%
So-
we are. But I just
So
want you
could
to be
you-
able to at least have the foundations of what we're talking about.
But
Yeah.
could
How did
you
this
make
take
him,
place?
could you make him aware so he'd be prepared, I guess is what I'm asking.
I can do that.
And did this just happen? Is this just?
It's been going on for a couple months now, but we actually got the first letter, I want to say it was probably in October. But like I said, it names, and it's supposed to be the name of a former employee, but it's not the name of a former employee. So I, at that point in time, talked to our attorney about it, and he was like, well, they got it, right now, they don't even have anything, because they don't have a proper name of the person that they're trying to accuse.
I mean, I
But
don't
right,
understand
he is
why
the
they can't just
attorney.
go to the judge and get it dismissed, and so there's gotta be more to it than that. So if you would inform our attorney that we would like him to explain it to us. The garbage contract, how close are we to getting something on our webpage about an increase in the garbage? We're starting first of the year.
I mean, I can put it on the website, I just need the information.
I thought we had already agreed to do that.
That's what I was
I
thinking.
thought we, yeah.
Need the information from,
I guess from Lee, what to put on there. He
Okay.
usually, if there's something that he needs me to put on there, he sends it to me, and then I put it on there,
It
so.
would lead to.
Yeah,
to
I can do
where
that.
the public is aware and not be shocked when they get their first bill.
Right, okay.
Which I've been telling people to look for the increase, but we do need it on our county webpage,
Okay, I can do that.
the new fees.
Okay.
And that our garbage exemptions are due,
Okay.
because a lot of people don't.
yeah, and this is the
People
last
are
one.
not aware that they have to fill out those garbage exemptions every year.
Mm.
Some of them think that just because they did it one time, they don't have to do it again. But please make a note on our webpage that it has to be done yearly.
Okay.
JSU, we got any updates on that?
No, you all got the same email that I did from our attorney about what's going on with that, but there has not been any further communication about that. From what I understand, from what I'm gathering, is they don't really have a problem with paying what they need to pay for the building. I know their attorney had mentioned lowering the percentage that they cover of shared expenses in this building. I don't know what number that would be. I know that was based on the square footage of the building at the time, that it was conceptualized, but, I don't know what they're expecting, except for that they did lay out also as one of the requirements that we start providing invoices, and what I see on my end of that is more work for the employees on this side, because if we're having to make invoices and for those invoices, and then there's, so maybe we've already paid this invoice and we've, recorded it on our accounting side as a shared expense, and then they come back and say, well, no, we don't want to share that expense, we don't think we should have to share that expense, then we've got an accounting issue, we've got to go back in the journal entries to correct that. So I just don't want it to be more complicated than it has to be.
But if you're paying, because you're already paying the invoices. The invoices are not separated when we get them anyway.
No,
It's
they're
just
not.
like one thing. So why, I can't see, I mean, Jack State, they're smart, they figure it out. They know that if you break that down and you have copies of those invoices, I don't see why they would object to that.
Well, they might, what it gives them an opportunity to do is, and this is what I feel like, is they may look at an invoice and say, we don't believe that that should be a shared expense, as that, we don't use that.
But you're not gonna, I mean, I think from what I was reading, what Mary was writing and all, they're wanting to pay their part. I mean, it's not they're objecting, but yeah, I don't want them, I would want some invoices to show what's being spent. So a copy of that invoice, even it's shared, should be efficient for them. I just can't see.
Well, they never have. Now, what they have done in the past is we have provided them with a financial document that shows the breakdown and kind of categorized, utilities, whatnot, but not actual invoices.
That's what I'm saying, just make copies of the invoices.
But it's a lot.
Well, I know.
It's a lot of work, is what I'm saying.
We
I'm
gotta.
not saying we can't do it, I'm
That's
saying
what
it's
they're
extra
requiring, that's
work.
what we're gonna have to do.
Well, then there should be some additional expense involved in that, but you see what I'm saying, that there are already expenses that they do not pay for, that are part of the shared building. I'm not trying to be, I want them to stay. I mean, we definitely have it work in our budget, we have a good working relationship, we all get along great. I'm just saying, I don't know that, it starts to become like, well, do you really want to have to make copies of every invoice and have every invoice scrutinized as to whether that should have been a divided cost? Or do you want to sit down and make a plan and we provide a financial for you? And that's what we have done in the past.
Copies of invoices, you're gonna have to make copies of invoices.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, we are already maxed out in here. We have more to do than we can possibly get done at any given time. I have not caught up since I've been here. I don't know if anybody has caught up since they've been here. And we are really staying just completely overwhelmed with work as it is. And I'm not saying that's gonna take a tremendous amount of time, it's just one more drop in the bucket, in a full bucket.
Are they keeping up with their payments, or?
They do.
You should not say that they're up
We
to
do.
date.
We build them quarterly.
But already, I mean, when you get an invoice, you're already making a copy of it, or you're not.
No.
You just get the invoice, pay it, and.
Yeah,
We
we
keep
keep
the invoice.
the invoice. Now, I have to make copies. I do, like Crystal's EMVG, that was called, report. And I'll make a copy of that to send for her report, or the transportation report, I'll do that, but as far as making copies.
There are certain invoices that we do have to make copies for certain entities.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's just another one. I'm not saying it's impossible that we don't already do those kinds of things. It's just one more thing on top of it. And that's fine. If that's what they require in order to continue to fund their portion of the building, that's what we'll do. Of course, that's what we'll do. It's just, I don't want to become like such a arduous task every time. Are we going to require some kind of pre-approval before we pay the invoice? Because we can't do that. We have to pay the invoice and then hope that they're okay with it.
And right now, it just sounds like they just want a copy of the invoices, just
After
for their documentations to where they're spending money I see where they're coming from too.
What does that consist of? Your power? What else? Your water?
I would actually have to look at the list, but
Supplies.
it is some like maintenance of the building, some supplies, definitely all utilities. It does not include like cleaning of that part of the building. It doesn't include any employee time
It
at
does?
all.
Does
No.
that include like toilet paper, paper towels?
Yes, it does include
Supplies.
that. Supplies,
And
utilities.
If they buy
Building.
supplies by the bulk, so.
I mean, we got a contract with them, but if it gets down to the point to where we're having to go and debate each invoice, it ain't worth it.
Well,
I don't think they're
It
asking
doesn't say
from
what
what
it's
she's
gonna be.
saying, she's not asking. All they're wanting is just a copy of the invoice. They're not
That's fine.
debating
We can sit
the issue, that's not what I got.
I think I hate to say this, what it comes down to, I think it, just like our intentions, everybody's intentions are good. When it comes down to the fine print, sometimes attorneys trying to do their job and protect, it's not just our attorney, it's their attorney too. I think their attorney threw a cog in the wheel as well as, everybody gets.
Yeah, they had never mentioned anything until the attorney's on, in fact, is the only one that has ever mentioned wanting copies of the invoices and wanting to change the percentage. That was never.
Please don't think I'm not, but I think the intention is good, it's just that when it gets to the fine print, it seems like attorneys sometimes slow things down.
No, it's just
If the attorneys,
It's just big invoices.
if it's an attorney requesting the invoices, why don't we talk to who's in charge? Is it Christie?
Yeah.
Let's ask Christie and say, do you want these invoices? And she says, yeah, then scan them and email them to her. But I don't think the attorney should be able to ask us for invoices.
According to what she wrote, was just part of it, was asking for, the other would
I read the email.
That's what she was asking.
It's the invoices and changing the percentage and changing, there was three things the attorney actually named. But I think that, I don't think anything has really changed as far as what they want to pay. I think it's more, the attorney got involved and said, well, let's start getting some more of these kinds of things ahead of time. But what I don't want it to be is an ongoing issue where yes, we'll be glad to provide invoices and show you exactly what you paid for this your part of the building. But what I don't want it to be is a continuous thing where they come back and say, well, we don't really feel like, we don't use copy paper and we got charged for copy. I'm not saying they are getting charged for copy paper, but I'm saying if any little thing, or, we don't feel like we use much support paper because we're not in the building but once a week or something like
They
that.
haven't got to that, I mean,
No,
that's not an issue.
that has never been an issue, and I don't know that it would be. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that instead of getting a financial report that says, okay, these are supplies, now they want like the details of it. And I can just see how things can get bogged down in those details.
Let's just,
Scan it and
So
email
let's
them.
scan them and email them, and if they, if it becomes an issue, we'll address it until it becomes an issue. Right.
All right, the only other thing I got is, if HR come up with anything on that plot issue, legalized plot issue.
She has, I know has requested it, but I don't think that she's ever gotten a good answer on that, other than that it doesn't really change anything. There will need to be a change in the policy, but as far as our requirements of what our employees are required to or not required to do, that will not change. So we cannot have
We're
that
gonna
in our
have to change
system.
the wording in our policy.
Sure.
right?
Sure, because you've got to make sure that you are saying you cannot have this in your system if you're operating our equipment. Whether it's medical or not.
Even though you have a prescription.
Right, even if it's not, because just even if you have painkiller prescription, you can't operate heavy equipment when you're.
But she ain't looked anything yet.
I have not seen anything on that yet.
Did we pay anything, which leaves here? The Heckman watershed, does that fall under all our other watersheds? That's gonna be a question for him. I'll wait till the meeting, we cheered about that. Gotta make a decision what we're gonna do about the district meetings, but I probably gonna go the district meetings. ACCA district meetings, they're next month.
Closest one's Gadsden.
I'm not gonna ride the cats to listen to the 30-minute speech and eat a chicken wing.
It's, January, what?
I'm not sure. I looked at it, but I said I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, I think it is in that group.
You got anything, Ms. Carter? Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir, I'm good.
Everybody good? Real briefly, till you go over what we're gonna vote on.
Yes, sir. Consent agenda, the surplus items from the probate judge's office. The transportation vehicle insurance change, if any. Rescind the resolution for the jail funds, and then on new business, we have the way station sign.
Okay.
If we rescind that resolution, let's go back to going in our general fund. Right?
And there's not.
Bids, lead,
Oh, yeah, bids for William Chips spreader that needs to go on new business too.
That'll
Good
actually,
catch.
that'll actually be two. One would be the surplus, the other one, if the new one is bought.
Yeah,
That'll
right.
be two resolutions.
Got it.
So, right now that's good, and there's not a whole lot to look at and vote. All right. Y'all ready to go home?
Yes.